response after the season you had, which was unquestionably the worst season of your career.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, for our daily ritual here on Undisputed, the Russell Westbrook.
Culpability whatsoever, it doesn't negate the fact that if you're Russell Westbrook, you got to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you got to let go of the stubbornness.
Russell Westbrook is undoubtedly one of the best point guards and players to graze the NBA floor. Considered by many to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, and he has the accolades to show for it. The problem arose as he became tenured with the NBA, people calling him too emotional, making bad in-game decisions, stat padding, and etc., and he became one of the most hated Hall of Famers. Russell Westbrook was drafted by the Seattle Supersonics back in 2008. The fourth overall pick didn't average much points in UCLA, but was drafted because of his high upside potential and his defense. And he didn't disappoint, because after he was drafted, him and 2007's second overall pick Kevin Durant improved the Sonics, which relocated to become the OKC Thunder we all know today. And after drafting James Harden in 2009, the Thunder overall proved to be a menacing force, even reaching the NBA Finals in 2012, but ultimately fell short, as they were defeated by a LeBron James-led Miami team. Russ throughout the 2010s was improving. He was getting comfortable scoring the ball and was a great second option with a KD-led Thunder team. But although he was improving as a player, as many great talents experience, he was being criticized heavily. Yes, he has this undying confidence. He was great as a player, scoring a lot of points and helping his team win. But if the job isn't finished, and the job being able to win a championship, many are going to pull you down. The Thunder had multiple chances to bring a banner home to Oklahoma City. Unfortunately, things happened, which was not necessarily in their control. Well, except letting go of James Harden. Since OKC wasn't willing to give Harden a max deal, he was traded to Houston, as Harden averaged 26 points per game and he flourished there. But OKC was still good during the 2012 to 2013 season. They were finishing strong, thanks to the KD and Russ duo. They won 60 games that year and was expected to go in a deep playoff run. Unfortunately, Russ got injured by Patrick Beverley during the first round, and although they were able to beat them in the first round without Russ, KD couldn't beat the Grizzlies alone and they fall 4-1, ending a great season with a disappointing playoff run. The 2013 to 2014 season started without Russ, but KD carried his squad to wins even without his sidekick. He was averaging 32 points per game and even won his first MVP award. Even when Westbrook came back and was shaking off his rust, they didn't lose games much because of his MVP running mate. And with that came the playoffs. They finished second in the West, and championship expectations are back in the air. They get past the first two rounds with ease, with Russ even averaging 28 points per game in the second round. But unfortunately, they fall to 6 games by the eventual champions, the Spurs, led by a healthy and young Kawhi Leonard. No banners again for OKC, and the 2014 to 2015 season saw the injury of Kevin Durant, which sidelined him for majority of the season. Westbrook put everything to grab wins for OKC, even averaging 28 points per game that year, but unfortunately missed the mark. They finished as the 9th seed that season and missed the playoffs for the first time in years. The 2015 to 2016 season was the last time we saw the KD and Russ pairing on the same team. And again, they dominated the season. They finished third in the West that year, and the KD and Russ duo was averaging almost 50 points combined, and Russ was considered a top 3-point guard in the league, finishing 4th in MVP voting that year. This was the last chance to hang a banner to OKC, as KD was heading to free agency that year. But we all know how this story ends.
Use it, Curry, way downtown, bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Although they reached the Western Conference Finals that year, they blew a 3-1 lead against the 73-win Warriors team, and no banner once again was hung in OKC. And in a shocking move, Kevin Durant joined the Warriors next season, leaving Russ alone to join the team they lost to last playoffs. So then Russ was all alone in OKC. Russ stayed in OKC for 3 more years. And the first year without KD, he led his team to the playoffs but will go against the Harden-led Houston team, and they fall by 5. But it wasn't all that bad, because he did win the MVP trophy that year, as he was averaging a triple-double that season. Everybody thought that if he was given more help, the former MVP will go far in the playoffs, so that's what the Thunder did. They were able to get Paul George and Carmelo Anthony to create a new Big Three in the West. But I'm going to skip ahead and show you guys what happened during those 2-year playoff runs. Both those years they get bounced from the first round. With the last playoff run against the Blazers, everybody was pointing their fingers towards Russ. And when Paul George got traded during the offseason, Russ decided that it was time for a new start. So he requested a trade, and he landed in Houston. He averaged 27 points in Houston, and it was one of the most efficient seasons of his career. But the pandemic and the NBA bubble came in. He even contracted COVID in the 2020 playoffs. And they were bounced in the second round by the eventual champions, the Lakers. And although he played great that season, the Rockets management had their problems. So he was traded to Washington for John Wall. Harden that year also was unhappy with Houston's management, so he requested a trade and went to another what-if story team. And after averaging a 22-point triple-double that year and dragging Washington to the playoffs, with Bradley Beal, of course, they got bounced in the first round by future MVP Joel Embiid. And after again one season with a team, he got traded to the Lakers. Where I personally consider the start of his downfall, his averages went down and so is his efficiency. The downfall of the Lakers were a combination of multiple things. They traded depth for an aging superstar and filled their roster with veteran minimum deals, players who were already past their primes. Russ struggled in his first year in LA. Although he averaged 18.5 points per game, he was shooting 44.4%. People were blaming him for almost everything. He was taking bad shot after bad shot and sometimes make a fool of himself while playing. It was clear he was trying, but he was uncomfortable. They missed the playoffs that year. And people are already calling this a failed experiment, and that they need to properly build around LeBron and AD. The next season, the Lakers were trying to experiment some more to effectively use Westbrook. At one point, he was even coming off the bench. He was averaging 15 points that season. Another down year for him. The Lakers were still losing games and everyone is screaming, "Trade Russ." And that's what they did. He got traded to the Utah Jazz in the middle of the season. The Lakers saga was really the lowest point of his career, and he agreed to a buyout with Utah, which then he signed with the Clippers, the Lakers' baby brother team, which in the Clippers, he played better. From being in the lowest point of his career, he slowly turned the narratives around him. But sad to say, they still got bounced from the first round of the playoffs, with PG not playing because of injuries. And soon, Kawhi joined him. But it looked promising. The Clippers needed a point guard for a while now, and Russ fit their system well. This may be a chance for Russ to finally win a ring and... Oh, no, sorry. Apparently they traded for his old Houston and OKC teammate James Harden, which in turn traded a lot more of the Clippers' depth. And although team-wise they went on a long win streak, it's the postseason that matters. And once again, Russ got bounced in the first round, as they had to face Kyrie and Luka. And as the offseason starts, for many, the Clippers' downfall is starting to come into fruition. Paul George has signed with the Philadelphia 76ers, and Russ got traded again to Utah, which again he has agreed to a buyout with the Jazz. And now he got signed in Denver, which most people are happy to see him in. But I think most of us, including me, is not expecting much anymore. But I do hope he wins a ring. He just needs to keep working and develop a consistent jump shot like before. Maybe stop being a tad bit emotional and work on his scoring bag and shot selections. But overall, Russ has had an incredible and long successful career. He will undoubtedly be one of the greats who has grazed an NBA floor. Despite all of the hardships and criticisms that came his way, he worked hard and bounced back, retook respect. He is an MVP. At the age of 23, he reached the NBA Finals and has even scored 40 points in one of those games. He is a triple-double machine, and he has also amounted 25,000 career points, and considered by many to be the greatest Thunder ever. He will be in the Hall of Fame. There are just some things we can't discredit him on.